I am too passionate about this amazing university. And I'll just walk you through my journey, how I did it. So basically, I grew up in Lahore in 70s. Don't count my age. I like to look younger, right? So we come from a middle class family in Lahore, and I was a very average student, and I'm proud to say this because that changed my life. Simply because my focus wasn't there. I did metric with poor grades. I'm not proud about having third division metric. You would say, wow, really third division and you're standing here? And then finally, I wanted to come to FC College desperately because my older brother, my late brother Shahab, did 4 years here in this college. And I said, how do I get here? I tried through some connection. They said, no, you have to first go to another college and get transferred to this college. So you know where I ended up? Wild guess, Dayal Singh College in city, a rundown city. And I grew up in a posh neighborhood in Gulberg. Back then, my father had a big business. So I was going to Dayal Singh College in a chauffeur-driven black Mercedes. And they are looking at me, who is this? What is he doing here in Dayal Singh College, right? It was quite embarrassing. So one of the professor, English major, so I could speak a better English than others, and I'm coming all dressed up, right? Because that was coming from a good neighborhood. It was a good upbringing, but यहाँ पर कुछ नहीं था. I was just not serious about studies. So I took a challenge to go to the Dayal Singh College, to come to FC College, right? So I had to pay a price for my naughtiness. I will be honest with you, in my youth, I was a typical like a Beetle boy. You know what Beetle boy looked like? Long hair, big hair, and bell bottom and heels, and like a hero. I tried to be like Beetle back then, 18 and 19, right? So I said to myself, what will it take for me to get to this beautiful institution? And that is to go through FC College. Dayal Singh College. So when I got here, 71 to 75, I worked very hard. I had two tutors, two tuitions to make it through FC College. Somebody who was never serious and a bit spoiled in lifestyle we had. But I realized, am I missing something that I should become very serious, right? In this great university, back in college. So I started to study and get tuition and so forth. I had a lot of failures, and one thing you learn, students, failure is not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. It makes you wonder what's not working. And I did the same thing. So from college, I wanted to go to US. But I finally, through compartments in FA and B, I just had B minus or something, zamane ki baat hai. So then I applied, I wanted to go to US. So from a mission to come to US was a tall journey because you had to get a student visa. And my grades were not good enough. I got admission in a college in Illinois, Eastern Illinois University. And the question was visa back then. And trust me, I applied to US consulate in Zafar Ali Road back then, back in mid-70s. I was rejected. I have no clue why. I had I-20 and everything. And I was disappointed. They said, bring this, bring that. Second time, they rejected me again. It took me 5 attempts to get a US student visa to do my MBA. Finally, they called me, American guy called me. He said, Mr. Ghauri, I think we made a mistake in your application. You come and get your visa. I thought that was a dream. But if you do it right way, it just gives you what you want to achieve in life. So finally, I made it to US to begin my another undergraduate in Illinois. And then I wanted to go for my MBA program. Of course, my family was supporting me. They were supporting me for my tuition, but I needed a weekend job just to be able to date women there in the college time. It's a very typical thing, just be busy. So I did drove taxis in the weekend. I mean, this is the boy who grew up in a posh neighborhood in like a Beverly Hills type place, and then he's driving cab for my own personal weekend money, My father said, Beta, you can only get tuition money. If you need to have party, just do some job in the weekend, which I did that, for a couple of months. Anyway, so after I finished my MBA, I was lucky to go to Peter Drucker Business School. आपने सुना होगा Peter Drucker का नाम, right? And I was actually proud to say that I got to know him personally, quite intimately. And there's a story about it. So Peter Drucker we took 2 courses with him, 2 semesters. In the final year of my second year of my MBA in the Claremont, he gave us an assignment to do a term paper to about 40 students, hall like this, and there must be 10 foreign students, one of them myself, and then 30 local Americans. And it was a pretty difficult project. And everybody delivered bad report. He came back 2 weeks later. He says, student, I'm very disappointed. He has an Austrian accent. Good man, but brilliant. You know his background. Please look him up, Peter Drucker. So he said, 70% of you did very bad. C grade, including myself. I could give you C grade, that will ruin your MBA degree. Because if you get a C grade, you won't get the MBA degree. Not from Claremont. He said, I'm giving you a second chance. Second chance. So you can maybe put your acts together. And he said, come to me if you need any personal help. This is Peter Drucker. He can relate to who I'm talking about. He said, come to my office. If you need further understanding, I'll help you. So I showed up Monday morning to his office in Claremont Colleges. He was busy. He said, tell Najeeb, come to my home. So I went to his home and I asked for help. He gave me help, how to do the paper. And finally, long story short, we did the paper again and I got A- from a C. Simply because I was determined not to give up. That was really how it has happened. After that journey, after my MBA, I had to find a way to start my practical career. So I did some corporate jobs, oil company in Unilever. I was a brand manager in USA. And then something happened that changed the destiny, personally, and the company we have right now. And that was back in 97, I got tired of doing a job. It was a good job, well-paying job, 6-figure salary back then. But I said, I'm not doing anything for Pakistan. I'm just doing for myself. I grew up in Pakistan, a proud country, born here, lived in Lahore, got education, but I'm not giving back to Pakistan. So that idea came to me just suddenly. My father had shared with me something, beta, when you go to US, do look back to Pakistan, do give it back in some way, right? And at that time, I was lucky to be approached by 3 venture capitalists, VCs we call it, right, from New York. Somehow they heard about me and they wanted to meet with me. Somebody who's got an MBA and, corporate guy, good looking too. She told me that. One of them was a female. No, I'm just kidding. Then they said to us, look, we have an opportunity for you if you want to take some risk. And that is give up your job. I was getting paid $120,000 in 96. It was decent money, right? And so I had 2 cars, typical middle-class family in LA. We had a home, and I had to give up everything to start a startup business, an idea that would involve Pakistan, right? And they said, we'll give you the tools and resources and lawyers and advisors to do an IPO. I didn't even know what IPO meant back then. Just imagine, you want to get into and take the lead and give up your career, which was decent career in an oil company, right? But start do an IPO. So that was a pretty brutal 18 months. But I was hell-bent, excuse my French. I was really determined, let's try it. Luckily, my wife, who is 12 years younger, was even smarter than I am. She said, Najeeb, I'm with you. If you fail, you can go back to job. I was 39 at the time when I took this journey. And she said, what's a big deal? Let's try it. 18 months won't kill you. So what we did was I left my oil company job. They sent me my provident fund saving of $400,000. And I also invested $300K in an IPO, which I had no clue whether this will make it, but I took the risk. Remember, students, if you want to go into any entrepreneurial journey, risk taking is the key element. Do you agree with me? Okay, and it changed your course. There's no guarantee of success, but the failure won't kill anybody. It just gives you, let's keep trying. So we invested, we did the IPO. Somehow, luckily, a guy who had no experience on the capital markets, just a corporate guy, was able to pull through an IPO on NASDAQ. I still don't believe that it happened, you know. I think it was pure luck. And maybe prayers of my father and my mother left many years ago. It was luck, but it happened. So we became a first Pakistani-American company because my brother Salim, some of you know, who is also from Anite, he founded his software house in 95. It was a year old with small capital from my older brother, but he was very small, 8, 9 programmers. He wanted to grow, but he needed cash infusion, like serious capital to grow the company, right? So here I was. I sold a story to investors in the US that we will. Back then, Pakistan was a most favored nation for American investors. There was no issue. Until after 9/11, there's some issues, but Pakistan was well loved by Americans, you know. So from there, we were able to pull the IPO somehow. It's a long story. I'll just cut the chase. And we invested whatever we raised on the IPO in NetSol Pakistan, which is what you see today is that company which has now, alhamdulillah, close to 2,000 employees worldwide. And the backbone is the product that we built for the auto finance companies and auto manufacturers. It's a software which runs multi-billion-dollar portfolios, all the leasing finance businesses. And you're dealing with auto manufacturers, Mercedes-Benz, Toyota, BMW, all the premium name, they are our customers now after so many years. So I think that IPO really helped change the course and give me a perspective to really, what can you do with this success? Then I turned towards some little bit of philanthropy, right? Because it's in our religion, peace be upon, Prophet said, you know, share. And we learned from my father. My mother always said, no matter what happens, do give charity. Even if you have $5 in America, just give it. And we remembered that. So we decided, okay, let's start some new ideas. And then we built some NGOs and supported and so forth. Bottom line is, this journey has its ups and downs, failures and successes. Failure is not a bad thing. It is a good thing, actually. Unless you are, if you're committed and determined, you can do what you want to do in life. Students, all of you, I'm a Fromenite, very proud Fromenite. Seriously. When I was discovered 3 years ago. Bob Dean is a good friend of mine from well-known Fromenite. Some of you know. And he's from LA. And he said, you know, you should start going to FC College 3 years ago. I said, well, you're right. That's how I connected with Dr. Jonathan Elton. He held an amazing event here in 2023. And I was humbled. They introduced me as a, you know, some successful businessman, FC College graduate. And then I think that's how I came in the limelight of this beautiful college. One thing I will say to you, from here, your journey could be easy or could be tough. Easy because you have a foundation, right? Like I had. And you say, okay, I'm going to do my bachelor's or master's or whichever major you are doing it. It could be easy because you have a foundation to go through your career. Or you can say, okay, maybe eventually I like to be an entrepreneur or self-run business or build something. It's all possible. Sky's the limit. If an average guy like me can do it, you can too. I guarantee you, each one of you have much better grades than I had. I can promise you. Seriously. But the thing is, I took that as a challenge. If I was not serious in my college time, I made it through FC College, of course, in the US. But in the real world, it's different. It's very different. Because if you pursue a corporate career, it could be smooth. If you work hard, if you're smart enough and you make a difference, you have to contribute to that company. Or if you explore an entrepreneurial journey, that is also very challenging. high risk and high rewards. And that's exactly what I feel that as a prominent student, I have it all. You know, I have ability to now talk to beautiful young students and maybe give some inspiration. At the same time, I have amazing company. I just came back from China about 3 weeks ago, and just to talk about my little bit about my company, what we have done. Some of you may know us. We have built in a global business, which US is the headquarter, parent company, which I oversee as chairman and CEO. And then we have subsidiaries. Pakistan is the biggest part of our company because that is the development center, that is the backbone which produces so many programmers, software engineers. And then we support very big niche industry worldwide. The leasing finance, banking, automakers, auto finance company, they use our software to the point that China is our biggest market. I mean, because it's China and Pakistan in excellent relationship. China is like a big brother. They look at Pakistan as a friendly partner. And so we were able to set our footprint in Beijing, Shanghai, and other places. It's a beautiful feeling to be working with China. China is a big success for us. We have our biggest revenue there. US is a tough market. It's a very difficult market, but we are now pushing digital platform mobility. We are now a bit on AI, right? AI is a new thing. It's capital intensive, labor intensive, and there's a lot of learning going on. I'm sure all of you are getting AI courses. You have AI courses there? Good, good, good. This is how you get better acquainted with the artificial intelligence, you know. Sometimes I'm surprised. I'm thinking, are they going to eliminate the humans? No, no way. Agentic AI, yes, maybe. There is a need of thinker, programmers, designers that will not be replaced by AI. Never. So never be afraid of AI. Get the knowledge as much as you can. Notice aa gaya mujhe. So should I wrap it up? Okay, so conclusion. I think I'm so happy to be here. I am madly, passionately in love with FC College. Hence, all of you young students. It has changed my life. It will change your life, inshallah. Thank you.